Welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Tech Minds Academy. So, and this Python class. Today, we'll be talking about conditional statements. So, as you can see here, so before we start, what is conditional statements, right? Conditional statements in Python are used to control the flow of a program based on certain conditions or decisions. Now, they allow you, the coder or the programmer, to execute different block of code depending on whether a condition is true or false, depending on what you want to do, your decision, your logic, right? They evaluate your conditions, your logic, and then they bring out the one that is correct. Now, we have four types of conditional statements, right? We have the if statement. The if statement is used to execute a block of code if a condition is true. We have the if-else statement, known as the else statement. Now, the else statement is used to execute one block of code if a condition is true and another block if the condition is false. We have the if-elif statement. The if-elif-else statement, known as the elif statement rather, is used to check multiple conditions and execute different block of code based on which condition is true. And lastly, we have the nested if statement. The nested if statement is just used to check conditions within conditions. Now, let's see examples. Now, starting, let's assume we have a variable called x that has a value of, let's just say, 10. But here we don't know what is actually 10, what is actually inside variable x rather. So we are going to use the if statement to check that, right? So let's just say now if variable x is greater than or equals to, let's just say, 10, print true. So guys, let's run it and check our terminal for the result. So as you can see here, guys, where my cursor is, our terminal return true because x is actually equal to 10. So here we gave two comparisons, right? Two comparisons. We gave equal and greater than. But one of them is true, which is equal to. So that is why it returns true. Now, let's see another example that is combining now the if statement and the else statement, right? So here we are going to say, assuming x, or rather age, let's use age, variable age as example, to be 30. The average age in a class is 30 or in a community is 30. So here we are going to say if age is greater than or equal to 18, we want to check the number of those that are eligible. We want to sort and separate those that will vote and those that are still children. So here, let's say print you are eligible to vote. You are eligible to vote. Else, print you are a minor. So guys, let's run this code and check our terminal. So as you can see here, guys, it said you are eligible to vote because actually here, as you can see, our variable age has a value of 30, right? So the average age is 30 in a community. So here we are trying to sort that only those, we say if age is greater than or equals to 18. So that means if you are 18 years old and above, Python print, sort them for us, tell them that they are eligible to vote, return you are eligible to vote for us. Else, in as much as they are not up to 18, say they are minors. So as you can see here, when we run this, it returns you are eligible to vote. What if we decide to change this age from 30 to, let's just say, 17? So let's rerun it again. So as you can see here, guys, the condition change because we changed the variable because age is not up to 30 again. So our Python returned, checks our value, our conditions, our logic, and returns you are a minor. So as you can see here, guys. So let's move on. So let's assume that we have a grade, a variable called grade of a class, and their average score is 85, right? So here we are going to say if grade is greater than or equals to 90, print for us taught them to be in A class. Let me turn this A to capital letter A for readability purposes. Elif, Elif grade is less than, Elif grade is less than 80, or rather, let's use is equals to 80, print, what are we printing? B, B class. Elif grade is equal to 70, print C class, else print you failed. So guys, let's analyze these conditions first so we can see the one that is actually right. So here we said if grade is greater than or equal to 90, print A class, right? If elif grade is greater than or equal to 80, elif grade equals to 70. So as you can see here, if we run it, 90 is more than 85 here. Our age here is not 80. So let's run it and see what we'll get. You failed, right? You failed. That's because none of these conditions satisfy this our variable, matches with our variable. But what if we decide to change this guy here, and say turn it to greater than? So you will see here that our condition, that our Python here will re-evaluate our condition when we try to run it again, our conditions there, and then give us the one that matches with what we are trying to do. So as you can see here, B class, because 80, because grade is actually greater than or equals to 80. So guys, remember that I said that conditional statements in Python are just used to control the flow of a program, right? Based on certain conditions that you that is given, say based on certain conditions on decisions that you are giving to your laptop, you are giving to your computer. They allow you to execute different block of code depending on whether a condition is true or false. And remember I said that we have four types of conditional statements. We have if statements, we have if-else statements, we have if-elif-else statements, and we have nested if statements. So right now, before we round it up, let's see an example of how nested if statement is done. So let's assume we have a variable called x to be 5, and we have another variable called y to be 4. So here we are going to say if x is greater than 0, if y is also greater than 0, is also greater than 0, what are you going to do for me? Print both x and y are positive numbers. Are positive numbers. So guys, let's run this program. So as you can see here, our Python returned both x and y are positive numbers. Both x and y are positive numbers. So guys, here it is. Remember, conditional statements in Python are used to control the flow of a program based on certain conditions or decisions. They allow you to execute different blocks of code depending on whether a condition is true or false. And remember, one thing I want to point out to us is that you can use this elif statement up to 100 or 200 depending if you have 100 conditions to give, right? Depending on the number, you can use it as many times as you would like, depending on how many conditions you want to give. You only use this else statement when you are done giving conditions and then wants to summarize and wants to give the last conditions, that is to close all your logic. Right? You can also use this if statement multiple times, but for readability purposes, right? And to avoid confusion, it is expected that once you use if statement, the next statement, that is if you still have more logic to give, should be what? A leave statement. Thank you guys for watching this video. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to this channel and then hit the notification button so that we'll have more of this class. See you in our next class. Thank you.